Hello friends, welcome to ShailajaIAS. This is Subhash. Welcome to PYQ Decoder Class 1. Today I'll be taking Polity class, and so how this course goes is we'll take subject wise, as I mentioned in the introductory video. We'll take subject wise, we'll decode each subject via syllabus, via PYQ. We'll break down the micro topics. Via micro topics, we'll understand how UPSC is asking the question and how the language is made and how logically we can solve these questions through understanding the micro topics. So by reading standard books, you will understand what to read and what is the content of UPSC. Okay, syllabus you might have read once, you might have not seen at all of UPSC Prelims. Okay, but the examiner who sets the question paper will first check the syllabus what has been set, and he will go through the macro themes and micro themes and the traps in the questions, how he has to set. In the statements, he'll set the traps. So we'll have this layer by approach. What is the subject? What is the standard book you read? You will understand everything about the content. UPSC PYQ, you will understand how UPSC converts that content and standard book into questions, statements, traps, okay, for you to not clear and eliminate in the prelims. The key is to understand how you have to decode logically, understand the examiner mindset and get the correct answer. So there has been a lot of efforts put into this, and it's been a honest efforts from ShailajaIAS, from Gautam sir and myself to give the best possible PYQ decoding course and PYQ decoding concepts and clarity to the students to crack prelims. So let's begin. PYQ decoder with the polity. Decode the past, be ready for the future, and crack this prelims 2026. Let's go. So for all the new blokes who have not seen the syllabus at all of the prelims, okay, this is the gist they have given. These are just the topics they have given mentioned in the UPSC notification for the prelims. One by one, let me go through. Constitution, okay, they have mentioned constitution. So in the constitution, what we get based on the PYQs is historical underpinnings, the salient features of the constitution. When the constitutional makers built the constitution, all the salient features, the preamble, the fundamental rights, the fundamental duties and directive principles of state policies, which are the backbone, which are the soul of the constitution and polity, and amendment procedures. Very key breakdown of constitution that has been mentioned in your prelims syllabus. Next, they have mentioned specifically after constitution, political system. India is what kind of political system? Parliamentary form of political system. We have presidential, parliamentary, right? We have parliamentary form of political system. We have federalism, where central government and state government derive power from the Constitution of India. So union and state executive machinery is very important. Under that, you know, president, governor, attorney general, PM and Council of Ministers, CM and Council of Ministers are the micro themes or macro themes. Under that, questions will come in micro themes. Next, very important is Parliament, state legislatures, then Supreme and High Court. Supreme Court and High Court, the three pillars, right? Legislature, executive and the judiciary. And you also have to understand the federalism in the political system, how it acts, and RP Act, Representation of People Acts, 1950 and 1951. Repeatedly, once in a 2-year or 3-year, questions are coming from that, and themes related to RP Act. Clear? Next, the questions where it is coming is Panchayat Raj. So, Panchayat Raj, which is giving real democracy to the villages of India. It happened through 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Act. It will be important. Local self-government institutions, okay, LSGs, the devolution of power, finances, and PESA Act, okay, extension to scheduled areas, right, the tribal areas. That act also question has been asked. If you wonder where the acts, Forest Rights Act, the question is coming from, it is linked to the governance, okay, and the other institutions like public policy. Next, in the UPSC Prelims syllabus, you will find particularly mentioned public policy. In the standard books you read, okay, whichever you read, we all read, you know, Lakshmikant mein hi padhte hai, but public policy is mentioned in the syllabus, but it is not the static concept. So Lakshmikant will not delve into all the concepts of public policy, which is the current affairs part in the polity. So policy formulation, its implementation, major welfare schemes attracting whom? Farmers. Okay, vulnerable group, all sections, vulnerable sections, and women, old age questions, okay, all these are coming from major welfare schemes, and e-government applications and models. This is a mix of economy as well as polity, but public policy is a syllabus in the polity, and roles of some of the important executive bodies, constitutional bodies, all are coming from public policy. Next important syllabus point in the polity is rights issues. One question had been come, which of the following are mentioned in the UN human rights, right? Fundamental duties, or which of the themes of UN human rights are mentioned in our constitution? Fundamental duties, fundamental rights, DPSPs, right? That was all of the above are mentioned in the UN Human Rights Commission, where it comes from the rights issues which are mentioned in the syllabus. Human Right Framework, RTI, Citizens Charter, Consumer Rights, protection of PVTGs, vulnerable sections, okay, the schemes related to that, the act related to that, the bodies related, all are coming from the polity as well as governance. So one key detail is the people who have studied for mains and who have good grip on mains will be easy to approach these things. So people who have cleared prelims once will have an advantage because they would have gone through mains, which will cover some of the syllabus topics of the prelims. So once you clear prelims, the confidence is there. They have decoded or they have understood the PYQs, how examiner is setting the paper. Once that is done and the main syllabus is completed, that will help them in clearing prelims again and again. This is the key. If you have to clear prelims, you have to be thorough in your mains topics also, and in the syllabus which has been given in the prelims, okay, the notification. Constitution, political system, Panchayat Raj, public policy, and rights issues are mentioned in your prelims syllabus. This is there. All this will be mentioned, all this will be given in the Telegram, and subscribe to our Telegram channel as well as our YouTube channel. Okay, we'll go to the next. So now we'll see the year-wise polity questions that has been asked in the UPSC Prelims paper. So this is the 10-year comparison I have made. So 2015, (2015) 14 questions had come. 2016 7, but the very next year 22, the maximum number of questions in the last 10 years has been asked. Then it is 13, 15, 15, 18, 12. In the last 3 years, it's 15, 19, 14. Okay. On an average, polity, around 15 questions has been asked every year on an average. This is part of the I4. Me and my friends were calling it I4, important 4 of the core static subjects, where we used to get 60 questions. When everyone were running around current affairs, we did not forget, along with current affairs, the core subjects, which is polity, 15 questions, geography. Earlier there were 6-7 questions coming. In the last 3-4 years, it has increased from 15 to 20. Okay. It includes some of the environment questions also. Overlapping is there. Geography around 20 questions. History, where many of us struggle a bit and we forgot modern history is there. But again, UPSC in the last year asked around 7 to 8 modern history questions. Then economic statistics. These 4 subjects, which are the core of UPSC, which are the core subjects, will cater to 60 questions out of the 100 questions on an average. Okay. 1 year it might be polity 20 questions, 1 year it might be geography 20 plus questions, 1 year it might be history, which is 25 questions, including ancient, medieval, art and culture and modern history. 1 year it might be economy, which passes 20-25 questions. But overall, if you see, minimum 60 question will come from the I4, important 4 core subject, and polity is one among them, and you have to master and not make mistakes in polity questions. Clear? So, significant questions have come, and on an average, 50 questions have come in the last 10 years, my friends. So, this is the very important slide which I have gathered from the last 5 to 10 years, and this is very important for you to cater how you have to study, how you have to utilize your source. Let's start. So these are the micro or macro topics of polity where questions have come from in the last 10 years, 2015 to 2025. First is Parliament and State Legislature. Parliament and State Legislature, around 30 questions have come. Okay. On an average, 3 to 4 questions have come every year from Parliament and State Legislature. For example, in Parliament, Speaker, Deputy Speaker, okay, functionaries of Parliament, functionaries of State Legislature, questions have come, and bills, okay, questions have come. With respect to sitting of the House, questions has come. We'll delve into each one in the coming time. Next, fundamental rights, fundamental duty, DPSP. The core philosophy, the core characteristics that mold our constitution are this: fundamental rights, fundamental duties, and DPSP. So these also carry almost same weight, 29 questions in the last 10 years. 3 to 4 questions will come every year in this area: fundamental right, fundamental duties, and DPSP. Okay. Hi. So whether all fundamental rights are important, if you see last 5 years, the important fundamental rights he has asked is Article 14, right to equality; Article 19, freedom of speech and expression; Article 21, which is right to privacy, Puttaswamy case. Okay. Article 21, right to life and personal dignity. These are very important. Article 29-30, okay, rights of minority, cultural rights, educational rights. Article 32, writs, okay, 4 to 5 areas where questions have been come again and again. These are the themes. Next, governance and current affairs. This is a very modern trend where schemes, okay, acts, need not learn all the schemes, all the acts. if you just go through PYQs of last 5 years, you can understand it has come from the syllabus rights and issues where the vulnerable, the old, the women, okay, these section schemes are catered to through governance, through current affairs, with respect to acts, schemes, okay, social justice, the questions have come. These are also every year 3 to 4 questions, minimum 3 questions, 4 or 5 questions also have come in. 24 it was more, okay, 2024. High priority regulatory acts, for example, digital mission, inclusion missions, NGOs, regulations, bodies, all these questions are coming from here. If you wonder, I have read polity and where are this question, where the heck this question is coming from, these are coming from your rights and issues, the syllabus which has been given in your polity prelims, what you have to study. Next, government schemes and policies, 1 to 2 question will come every year. For example, MP Lads, Member of Parliament, Local Area Development, okay, Legal Service Authority, Nalsa Salsa, okay, Janani Suraksha Yojana, Shramdan Yojana, Ministry of Labour, Ministry of Social Justice. Questions are coming 1 to 2 from here, right? See, core subjects coming, then the current affairs, the trend where 4 or 5 questions coming from polity and governance is through here. Next, union and state executive. Union and state executive, where president, governor, in president, president's pardon power with clarity. He won't ask which article, okay, is it 72? He won't ask. Council of Ministers should aid and advise, Article 74, he won't ask for the president. What he asks is the theory behind it, the concept behind it, whether you have understood properly the president's pardoning power. The clauses, clause by clause, he has asked with respect to governor, with respect to president signing the bill. In the last year, 25, the election, veto, president ordinance power, and cross-linking of topics. Cross-linking of topic happens. Okay? If it is ordinance, he has linked it to Article 13. Whether ordinance can abridge a fundamental right or not. Fundamental rights has been linked with ordinance, has been linked with union executive, which is president. Can ordinance abridge fundamental right? No. Why? Article 13 is there. Okay. Any law that abridges the fundamental right, including the ordinance, will be considered null and void. Asked in 2025. Okay. It is not that you just study union executive blindly. In the standard textbook, it is separate. But PYQs will help you to understand how cross-linking is happening, how you can increase the horizon, and how those concepts have been set to motion in the question paper. Understood? Next, constitutional and statutory bodies. Around 9 to 12 question in the last few years has come from constitutional statutory body. Medium weightage. Here, what you have to do, you have to make a table. No need to read and by heart 70-80 pages. Make a table of constitutional bodies, statutory bodies, executive bodies. Okay. Important thing what you ask is, who is the chairman, who is the member, what is the functions. Only this depth has been asked. This you will understand through PYQs. Once you understand that, you will know whether it's a statutory or constitutional body or executive body. First thing is asked, who is the chairman, who are the members. Second thing is asked, what are the functions of it. 3 things done, dusted. Next, judiciary. One of the important themes in the polity, judiciary. Okay, it's independence and the integrated setup where Supreme Court at the top, High Court, District Courts. Okay, this has been asked. Here also around 9 to 10 questions has been asked in the last few years. 2-3 questions sometimes have come in the same year. So this is also one of the important area. Contempt of court, writs, Supreme Court powers, appointment of judges, removal of judges, questions has come. Next, 5th, 6th schedule areas and special areas, every year question has come. 1 or 2 questions will be there every year from 5th schedule, 6th schedule, linked to other areas of the polity. What are the president's right here? What are the governor's right here? Okay, how much state government has control? The questions has been come from 5th, 6th schedule areas. Next, preamble and philosophy. Define state, define nation. What stands for positive liberty, negative liberty? If you study 11th political theory text, all the philosophy is here and all the philosophy is mentioned very crisply in the preamble. So this also is very important area where 1 or 2 questions come each year or every other year. Okay. State, nation, liberty, limited government, all these philosophical concepts have been come from here. So this is the trend in the last 5 to 10 years that has been there. Parliament and state legislature, fundamental rights duties, union and state executive, constitutional and statutory body, judiciary, 5th, 6th schedule, okay, preamble and philosophy are the important themes where 12 to 13 questions have come, along with governance and current affairs, government schemes and policies linked to polity, linked to governance. Questions have come, very important. Now you understand which are the macro topics. These are micro topics in polity, but in this again micro themes are there. Okay, these are the micro topics or macro classes in the polity or macro topics in the polity. Again in this micro topic you have very small themes where UPSC likes to ask question and test you. That is the entire point of the course where we'll decode these themes in the next 6 classes and we'll show you with examples how UPSC has transformed those themes into actionable questions where it will be easy for you to read, but it is not so easy while solving the questions. So this will help you to understand how to convert your knowledge into application questions, how UPSC you can answer the questions, how you can see each statement, understand the examiner's pattern of setting questions, understand to eliminate the wrong statements and get through the answer through logical deduction. It's a learning process. It doesn't happen by seeing others solving. I am not solving 5 to 10 questions of polity and will say, done, chalo, take it. No, that is not going to happen. You have to work. You have to see each statement. You have to learn through yourself. If I eat food, my stomach will be filled, not yours. Understand? Friends, here what you have to do is, I'll give you the approach, how to study, where are the questions coming from. You have to see the questions, you have to see the statements, you have to first do that, okay? Then see this class and do that. You will understand UPSC questions in a much better way. You will have much better clarity. You will be ready for the 2026 prelims in a much better way to crack it and get through for the mains. So, next. To just give you guys an example how some of the traps have been set, I have just taken through the last 5 to 10 years of PYQs, how examiner is setting a traps. These are few of the statements where while analyzing you will be able to see how UPSC examiner is setting some of the traps in the polity questions. So we'll see one by one. First one, defined in the constitution. See, we all know Indian constitution is a written constitution that has adopted many conventions, right? One side you have India, another side you have Britain, right? Britain, where you have no written constitution, conventional constitution, which is having many writings now. Okay, many things are getting recorded. It's trying to become conventional. We have conventional constitution, written constitution, which are adopting many conventions, which cannot be explained everything in the constitution. Already it's a bulky book, right? So you have to understand that many of the items, many of the things, terms are not defined in the constitution. Okay. and some of the terms which are defined in the Constitution. For example, Article 12 define the term state, right? You all have read. This is not a polity class. But once you know that, you should know which are all not the terms defined in the constitutions. Okay, constitution, I'm sorry. So UPSC frequently claim a term defined in the constitution when it is actually a judicial interpretation or a statutory term or defined in the subsequent acts. For example, the Constitution mentions a term in the Article 124 mentions incapacity. In the removal of judges, Article 124, if is incapable, incapacity, it only mentions, it is not defined. Okay. It is defined in the Judges Act. What is incapacity terms to is defined in the statutory act, not defined in the Constitution. It only mentions incapacity, the question asked. And classic example, basic structure is defined in the Constitution. It's an interpretation, right? Keshavananda Bharati case. Office of profit is defined. Incapacity of judge is defined. All these are classical trap set by UPSC. Even in last year 2025 paper, this is their one trap. Fact check. None of these are defined within the original or amended, constitutional amended text of the Constitution. None of them are defined, but you should know which all terms are defined. Okay, that's the clarity required. Next, the authority swap. The examiner often swap the role of president with the governor or the center and state governments to test jurisdiction precision. For example, in 2024, governor recognizes the scheduled tribe was the trap, but we know under Article 342, president will recognize the scheduled tribe. Okay, the OBC issue also was in news, where respective states could do it, but the constitutional amendment was brought when the Supreme Court judgment was given. Then the question has come next year 2024 only, that governor recognizes the scheduled tribe. So SC, ST, president, OBC, state also can do, right? You need to have that clarity and the swapping of authority. 2025, claiming the CM constitutes the State Finance Commission. Is it CM or the governor? The Finance Commission is by President, the State Finance Commission is by the governor. The swap of authority is the typical playbook of UPSC examiner in the polity. So the next third trap where the questions have come from is the swapping of bodies, or to mention which is statutory, which is constitutional, right? Which is the executive. So NCBC was under 102nd Constitutional Amendment Act put under Article 338B, right? Then the question had come whether it is a constitutional or statutory body. Already NC, SC and NC, ST was constitutional. NCBC happened under 102nd Amendment Act. This is also classical things. I think in 25, he gave interstate council, zonal council and one other executive body and asked which are the following are mentioned or a part of the constitutional, okay, constitution bodies, which are the part of the bodies mentioned under articles in the Constitution. So these are also a trap. 1 or 2 questions are coming every year. Next, mandatory versus convention. Ours is a written constitution where we have adopted many conventions and the questions do reoccur, the themes do reoccur every year. I'll give you the example. So, opposition deputy speaker. Normally, deputy speaker will be given to the opposition party and speaker will be from the party which has the majority. This question was asked in 2024, I think, where the party in power or opposition deputy speaker was not given to the opposition. The question had come that it's a mandatory provision to deputy speaker to be given to the opposition party, but wrong. It's a convention established since 10th Lok Sabha. Nowhere it will be mentioned, but you should be able to understand and see which are the conventions through current affairs or through sessions, through things that are going in our political system. You should be able to analyze and answer the polity questions in prelims. Next was speaker resignation. So whenever a party member becomes speaker, will he resigns to his party? This is a convention and this is not followed in India very strictly. So our speaker now, Om Birla, is still a part of his party, which is BJP, Bharatiya Janata Party, but he has not resigned. But this is a standard convention in Britain, which is not so in India. Claiming members must resign from their party in India upon elected as a speaker is wrong. So, convention versus what is mentioned in the constitution. Parliamentary session, I think in 22 or 23. 3 sessions a year is a convention. Nowhere it is mentioned, but UPSC has asked whether it is mandatory or not. Then constitution only said that, mandated that there should not be more than 6 months gap between 2 sessions. So if you make 2 sessions also, fine. There is no mandatory provision that you have to have 3 sessions. The mandatory versus convention, every year the question has come. The question has arrived. Clear? Should be able to understand what is a convention and what is mandatory and which are the provisions specifically mentioned in the constitution. For example, governor can decide upon the subject where he can act on his own discretion. Okay, it's mentioned under article of the governor in the constitution. Okay, this is 2025 question. So you have to know which article mentions specifically the power given to some of the constitutional functionaries and which are just a convention. Okay, these are the area where UPSC is asking every year. Speaker recognition 25, 24 opposition deputy speaker, I think 23 or 22 parliament session. Question has been asked based on the convention and mandatory provisions. Sometimes he'll say conventions as mandatory provisions, sometimes the ulta. Understood? So friends, now 2023 was a paradigm shift where complete all the tricks, elimination techniques, everything is gone, and the death of 100% certainty that this answer is right through elimination is gone. This is a watershed moment, right? You all agree with me? 23 exam effectively dismantled all the traditional elimination method. Okay, if one statement is right, whichever one is right, only those statements will carry, and others you can eliminate. That is gone now. Identifying a single wrong statement no longer yields the correct answer. This is where it will trouble the students who have studied a lot, put all the efforts and not able to crack the prelims. Because if you know 2 statements out of the third and you don't know third, you are same with the person who don't know all the 3 statements. Okay. Now is where the student who have put the efforts, the student who are knowledgeable, who are officer worthy, have to understand, go through the statements, find where elimination, where wrong statements have kept, how they have been done. That can be done through individual efforts, independent validation. Candidates must assess the validity of every statement individually. All the options also are a key to understand how paper is set, how wrong questions are set, my friends. You will not be able to clear prelims by studying 10 books of polity or studying polity one subject or one standard book 5-10 times without understanding how that subject is converted into questions, how cross-linking happens, how statements are built, how traps are set. This is possible not through me, not through any institutes, not through any test series, but each candidate who wants to clear prelims must validate it, go through it, understand the wrong questions or wrong statements, understand the right statements, understand the traps, understand the themes. Next, probability model. When you take the question right? Mathematically, you have 25% chance of right, 75% chance of going wrong, right? 1 out of 4. So 25% you have chance of right. If you eliminate one option, then your chance will become what happen? 33% right, 66% wrong. Your chance when you are able to eliminate one wrong statement, one wrong option, understand this is just mathematical probability and it works. Maths doesn't go wrong anytime, anywhere. And if you're able to, if there are only 3 questions and if you're able to eliminate 2 statements, or if you're able to understand 2 statements are right or wrong, then it will go past 66% from 50 to 70%. Obviously, you will come to 50-50, right? 50-50. But if you understood PYQ, if you are able to decode the other statement, the other option, it will be actually 70%. This jump from 50 to 70%, which is actually 100% right, happens through decoding PYQ, and you should go through independently validate each statement, each option, that too mainly in the last 4 to 5 years. That will give you the trend, the evolution, and the subject wise doing of PYQs will give you the important themes, important clusters, the language of how questions has been asked. So, for example, 2023 scheduled areas question requires specific factual precision of what governor can do, what CM can do, and bill. For example, if the bill is passed to president, article 200, article 201, which is in news, you should go through each class. Okay, it is in news, but question will come through class, each class, article 200, class 1, class 2, class 3, class 4, what governor can do. If governor sends the bill to president, what president can do. That kind of question comes in UPSC, that you can understand through previous year question papers and their case studies. Clear? This is where you get edge from. Basically, you don't know anything, 25%, out of 4 statements, you know only 2, still you are end up with 2, 50-50, to make that 50 to 70% and make it a right probability, to make sure it is in your favor, maths is in your favor, you have to go through each individual statement. Even the wrong options hold a key to clear UPSC Prelims and score more marks. Then, you have seen the convergence of static concepts and contemporary governance. Just have put what are all the things that has been asked. Okay, backward linkages. Okay, political theory, polity since independence, how our political system rolled after independence, and how fundamental principles have been linked to current events. Say financial friction between center and states, the river disputes, all this linked to static things. Next, historical underpinnings, the evolution of political party and the acts, right? The British Acts has been asked, and the making of the constitution, the questions have come. Recently, I think the First Amendment were important to overset the judicial thing, that I think UPSC had set aside that question, but it is coming from the historical underpinning and evolution of Indian polity after the independence. Next, administrative and statutory bodies, which you have seen, and other bodies also like coal controller, tea board, Kaya board, and bench, I think a bar council of India question had come, right? Home guards question had come. These are all coming from the administrative bodies and statutory bodies. Next, financial and cooperative federalism, which is very theme of the current government, where we saw digitization, GST reforms, okay, the finance commission which has been done. Okay, this question was there in 23, tax devolution criteria, right, forest ecology, demography. This question was in 23, cooperative federalism, and the Northeastern Council, this question was there in I think 25, the Interstate Council, all this was there in 24-25 recent year papers, where the bodies, the administrative acts, the cooperative federalism bodies, again it might be constitutional, it might be statutory, okay, it might be executive, and your history and static contemporary things are linked. Clear? So the next 6 classes will be, we will deconstruct all these concepts logically through a thematic framework. All the themes which I had given you, micro themes, those are important topics in the polity. Again, we'll drill into the areas where UPSC has asked question in the last 5-6 years, and how the topics which you read has been effectively converted into statements where it is nearly not possible to answer without understanding how examiner has set the question, set the trap, set the wrong options. So subject standard book will teach you what to study, how to study. PYQ will help you to analyze how those topics have been converted and put to questions, made you difficult to answer even after studying. That we will decode through logical analysis, thematic approach, and PYQ mastery. So I hope this class has been helpful and eye-opening to all the students and to all the aspirants who have already cleared prelims but wants to go through the PYQ again to rebrush or refresh yourself. So this is a initiative to help all the aspirants who are struggling with the prelims. This is a free initiative, so please subscribe to the channel, do join our Telegram, and do share to all your friends and to all the aspirants community who wants to clear prelims but are stuck in that stage through decoding PYQ, through understanding how questions have been set, so we can make sure to jump this hurdle and enter mains by decoding the PYQ. So this is UPSC Decoded. In the upcoming session, all the polity micro themes will be discussed. See you again. Take care.